Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC in Christ Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television a couple different ways. You can find us on channel 182. That's on Charter Communications, Horizon Communications, and that's all over North Alabama. You can also find us on Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Now, I really didn't want to scare Amanda, but I guess I need to go ahead and tell her right now. Amanda Hollingsworth is with me, and she is grief bereavement social worker with Shepherd's Cove. But I wanted to mention this to you. We are now abroad, and so we've got about 1 million more viewers potential for that. So
oh my heavens. Good for you, but
so
scary for me.
Rob Patz owns the station, Abundant TV, and he said, and he made the announcement on my show about 2 weeks ago, and he said we're going to be in Australia, and he said a couple of weeks or so, and I'm sitting there like, no way. Nothing in the technical world ever happens when you say it's going to happen, but it did, and it kind of shocked me.
Oh,
So we are on in Australia, and I know you folks in
wow.
Australia are making fun of my voice. I know you are. It's that Southern accent.
That's
But
exactly
we
what I
hope
was
we make
thinking
your day
thinking.
today. We hope we do. And I'll tell you something else. If you're thinking about starting a business in the United States, our neck of the woods is the best. Now, Amanda, you can tell them about Albertville. It's growing like crazy, which is just about 15 miles from us here in Geraldine. And we'd love to have you here. We'll treat you with just great, wonderful, wonderful Southern hospitality. We'll give you some cornbread and milk. How about that?
Oh, yes, yes. Even buttermilk if need be.
There you go. Because we feed people around here, don't we, Amanda?
That's right. That's right. We'll make sure you're rested up and your belly's full. So,
Absolutely. So we're talking to a bunch of folks for the first time. Actually, I'm sure we get more viewers every day. So let's talk about Shepherd's Cove. And what is Shepherd's Cove? What's it about?
so Shepherd's Cove is a hospice agency, but one of the things that we pride um, ourselves on is um, to say that we're more than hospice. Of course, we do provide our hospice care, but we have our hospice in-home care. We have an inpatient facility.
Mhm.
We do. We have our bereavement department, which is what I'm a part of. We provide bereavement services to not only our hospice families, but to people in the community free of charge. We also have a thrift shop, which is wonderful. Because
Mhm.
Dawn is one of our top, top uh, customers and definitely supporters.
That's true. I keep you guys afloat.
uh, and so we strive to give back to the community in whatever way that we possibly can. The community is huge support for us, and we just try to give back in whatever way. So whether it's through providing one-on-one hospice care to our families while they're going through that journey of their life, whether it's after the passing of a loved one, we provide care to the families afterwards. And then we want to provide you with something good to purchase, but the money that is gotten from our thrift store goes back into our programs to provide the services that we do, because we do provide indigent care, and that's for people who do not have insurance. So it's all one big circle of happy family, just trying to get and be there and support the stewards of the gifts, the talents, the time, the money that the Lord has provided to us.
Absolutely. And I wanted to point out, I got this, and it's leather right here. And so I got this, I guess, about 2 or 3 years ago. And I've enjoyed wearing this. I mean, it's really cute. It's got the zipper and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's really, really nice. I mean, this I forgot the name brand of it, but anyway, the name brand is be like about $150. If you bought it brand new. So I
Every time
love.
we talk, you just crack me up. So, oh yeah, let me show you this. Oh, let me show you this. You know, you're just a walking model of the things that you can get.
I'm the billboard. I'm the billboard, and I wish you could see. You got to come over sometime and see the studio. The studio is also my workshop. And so, I make jewelry and sell it, all over the country. And so, but my pieces are really unusual and I use a lot of tools. So I'm a metal worker, what have you too. That's why my fingers always look horrible. But but if you could just come by and see a lot of the tools that I have actually got at the thrift shop has saved me hundreds of dollars in my displays and things like that. I've bought stuff and I've just, Pinterest kind of gets me in trouble. If I ever get on Pinterest.com, it's like I can't get off and I don't sleep the rest of the night. But there's so many ideas you can get promoting. And I just want to say this, if you've got a small business and maybe you're a retail establishment, and you have a storefront, you can get all kinds of great ideas just by going to the thrift store.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
They do a really good job, I think, of displaying, putting things together, things that, well, I'm just not talented like that. I just am not in no shape, form, or fashion. But they put things together that you just think, wow, wow, that really works. But we are blessed. We're blessed with people who, so many times that they say, there's no way that we can repay you for the kindness and the services that that you did to help my loved one. But here, this is some way that we can. Here's a token of appreciation. So a lot of times people are provide their donations to us, which is wonderful because, again, like I said, in turn, the phrase is get a deal, make a difference. You get the deals, but in turn, you're allowing us as people who are striving to give back, you're allowing us to do that and supporting us. So any donations, that, like I said, it just helps all the way around. It just helps all the way around.
It does. I know a lot of folks are having yard sales. And Amanda, I've already told you, I don't like having yard sales. I like going to them, but I don't like having yard sales. And so if you cleaned out the closets, maybe the garage or whatever, and you're like me, you just want to mess with it, you can give them a call and they have a truck and they got to set an appointment. Okay. You don't just like call them, expect them out there in 15 minutes. Set up an appointment because they keep that truck on the road all the time picking up stuff. I know Loretta, who works at the thrift shop, said, "Boy, you keep us busy." And I said, "How do I keep you busy?" She said, "You're always telling people to come by with their, get the truck." And so they'll come by and you don't even have to lift anything. They'll do all that for you. Just point out, I want this couch gone. I want whatever you want gone and tell them and they'll do it for you. And you don't have to take it back inside the house.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. So, yeah, you don't even have to lift you just do if you have the yard sale, you've done all the hard work, the yard sale, and you've got that left over. Or if people don't want to have yard sale, they just don't. Like you just boxed up. You want boxed up, they come and get it. And then sometimes people have estate sales, or they just need to get rid of the majority of the stuff that's in a home. They come and get it. So
Well, a lot of times you just mentioned an estate sale, like someone will pass away, could be a grandmother, whoever. And so the family, they'll get what they want. They don't want to mess with anything else. I mean, just call them and they'll be glad to come and pick it up.
That's right. That's right.
Now let's talk about what you do at Shepherd's Cove, Amanda.
Well, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I am a grief social worker, and I do have to just say this, Miss Donna, I am so excited. So I am in a very odd situation, not odd, this is in a different season of my life, and God is just doing things I never thought that He would be doing to allow me to do. We'll say that. But yesterday, I passed an examination that I am now a licensed master social worker. So I went back to school and got my master's last year after being a mama at 40 years old and working full time and all that, just living life. And so yesterday I obtained my licensure as a master's level. And yes, I'm very excited about that. But the reason why I want to say is that's going to tie into what I get to share, what I get to do with my amazing teammates. So at Shepherd's Cove, like I had shared earlier, we have our bereavement center. Mm-hmm. And what bereavement is it's grief. It's grief bereavement support. Mm-hmm. So when I had shared that we provide services for our hospice families, we do that, but we also provide grief support for anybody in the community also And all this is free of charge. We're blessed to have a grant that helps us do this.
Mhm.
But officially now, all the social workers who are in the grief department, bereavement department, we are all licensed master social workers, and we're about to have a clinical social worker. What that means for the layman, everyday people out there needing assistance is that just allows us to be able to do more things, provide more services at a higher quality of professionalism and expertise. So I'm so excited for that because that
Congratulations.
just means that we can give back to the community even more. So I'm really happy about that. Thank you. Thank you. So one big thing we've got coming up this week is Camp Hope. I
Mm.
don't know how many people are familiar with Camp Hope, but Camp Hope is it's a camp that we have two different ones throughout the year, two different times throughout the year. One is for our in-school students, excuse me, and then we have a family camp Hope. So this week is our in-school Camp Hope. So what that is our students who participate in coming to the grief support that is provided to their schools, they are coming to Camp Hope. And that day is a field day, fun day that the children get to come, be kids amongst people who they know they all share a common connection is they have lost somebody dear in their life.
Mm-hmm.
So through grief, they are able to come together, have fun, and learn that it is okay to still have fun, even if you're not feeling all warm and fuzzy all the time. But it's okay to continue to have fun. So while they're there, we teach tools of expression. And what that is just a fancy little phrase of just saying it's okay to do these healthy, fun, safe activities and honor your loved one to be able to express how you're feeling. So we've got an obstacle course, and if you've ever tried to maneuver through your grief, you know that sometimes you feel like that you're going just trucking along, like everything's fine, and then all of a sudden everything is not fine.
Mm-hmm.
Or everything seems to be smooth sailing, but there's little bumps, or you have to change your direction, you change your mindset. So we've got an obstacle course. We have arts and crafts, which is what I'm going to be in charge of, and I'm so super excited about this. I always have so much fun, and I joke and laugh because I'm just not artsy. I mean, let me phrase this: I do theater, I love plays, I love being all of that. But you try to me to create stuff with my hands, I can't do. But I get to do the arts and crafts, and we have so much fun. But this year we're going to be using pumpkins, and just like in the pumpkins, how our insides on the outside we can look a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
but on the inside we'll have all that mess and everything's so discombobulated and all together. But if we go through and we can clean it out and make sense of it all, we can get it to where our insides and our outsides kind of match. So we'll be doing that. Then we have canoeing, and that's always a fun thing. I will share this that my children are a part of Cove, are a part of the in-school bereavement. My husband and I adopted two children officially 2 years ago, so it's been about 3 years since we've been interacted in each other's lives, but their biological mother had passed away, and so they come to the sessions, and they have not been able to come because we've not been able to have Camp Hope for our students because of COVID. So not only are we having it this week, we're having two.
Awesome.
One will be Thursday, one will be Friday. But it's our first 1 in 2.5 years to be able to do it. So my children are so excited. They've got their clothes out ready, and they're like, Mama, what are we gonna do? And my oldest daughter's in 8th grade. She's 13, so I mean, she can be a teenager most of the time. Don't get me wrong.
Uh-huh.
But when it comes to Camp Hope, she's like, I'm ready to do this.
Yay.
So I'm really excited. This is coming out. We're able to do this. It's like I said, I'm old. I feel it by the
Oh,
end of the
you're not
day.
old.
I feel it by
Take
the
it from
end
me,
of the
you're not
day.
old.
Well, I know that I'm definitely not 20 anymore. So the day is, by the end of the day, I'm falling out of just the energy and excitement that just this continues to pump. But it is so fun. It is absolutely so much fun. And again, this is a free service that's provided to to the students at free of charge. And again, we're blessed to have a grant to the public awareness of uh, this child abuse, neglect, child abuse and neglect.
Mhm.
So we're blessed to be able to do that. We're going to have a total of for the next for 2 days it'll be close to 300 students that'll be coming.
Wow. Yeah, I'm so glad you guys do this because, folks don't talk about the passing anymore like they, I mean, when I was growing up, I mean, of course, my dad was a minister, so we went to every funeral home, we went to every funeral, so I kind of grew up knowing about it. But then I think we almost lost it when we started sheltering our kids too much, from it. And so it sounded like a scary thing, but I'm so glad you guys are doing this. It really helps people. It helps the adults too. I mean,
One of
to be able to,
one of the
once,
most
no, go
right
ahead.
that's exactly right. One of the most common questions that we're asked from our from parents or guardians or whomever the adult in the child's life, is it okay that they see me cry?
Yeah.
And and of course I just went, oh my God, yeah, 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 yeah. But I have to,
Yes.
like, yeah, really, it's okay
Hmm.
because it's
Hmm.
the child, like, as a parent or like I said, an adult in their life, they think, well, I don't want to make them upset. And if I cry, then it makes them upset, and I don't, it's that. And then, but you flip the tables, a child thinks the same thing. A child thinks, well, if I cry, then that's going to make mommy upset, or it's going to make so and so upset, and I don't like seeing them cry.
Hmm.
And really, 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 what I honestly think it just so boils down to is, in our day and age, for the most part, when you see tears, it's because something's wrong. And we, as as normal reactions, if we see tears, we want to fix it and we want to make them go away. Well, you can't fix grief tears. You can't fix it. You can't make it go away,
Hmm.
because in order for it to go away, the event would have to have never happened.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, the event has happened. So we can't fix it. And so when we see somebody crying, we don't know how to fix it. So people who are wanting to help somebody, they tend to shy away from really asking
Hmm.
because they don't want to make them upset. And then the people who are being asked, they don't want to upset the person. And so here we're in this tango of,
Hmm.
really, people are wanting to help and support, but they don't know how. And then people are really wanting to tell people how they're really feeling, but they don't know how.
Hmm.
So, and so we try to teach our students, our children, that, hey, you know what? You're feeling the way you're feeling for a reason, and that's okay. And it ain't always, grief don't always come out in tears that um of sadness. I mean, look, I'm one. If you see me crying and I'm talking really slow, that's because I am very upset. And so if I'm crying and I'm trying to be very, very articulate with my words, that means I'm trying my best to focus, and
Hmm.
all everything else is in me is shaking.
Hmm.
But when it's like that with grief, that's what I say, that sometimes anger comes out as tears, and sometimes um, it's just very discombobulated. It's very confusing.
Hmm.
Your emotions don't add up to what you've always been told,
Hmm.
and the way that we do set things up in our life, the world around us. You get 3 days really kind of for bereavement. If you're working, do the viewing, do the funeral, and come back to work or come back to life and just do whatever, like everything's normal.
Hmm.
And it just doesn't work like that. It just really doesn't. And we try our best to go on and do life
Mhm.
when outwardly, just like a pumpkin, outwardly we look okay,
Mhm.
but on the inside we're so discombobulated that it's just a big old mess.
Well,
And we
sometimes,
just go
man, the
around
people
carrying it.
think that they can't. They think, well, I'm doing something wrong if I laugh about like a good memory. If
Right.
I do something, but I'm constantly laughing at good memories here. So, we bought my grandparents' farm. And
Oh,
so my grandparents lived here, and we think of funny things my grandparents did all the time. I mean, it's just constantly. And every time, so the house had not been lived in for about 13 years when we bought it. And you can just about imagine. First thing
wow.
I said when I walked in is if Mama were around now, what would she think if she could see the dust? And because she kept an immaculate house, I'll put it to you this way: I would have actually eat biscuit and gravy off of her floor. I mean, you could have.
Wow.
She was that
Wow.
clean, just a clean fanatic. And so when relatives come over, I'll say, "No, look, if you're expecting it to look like it did when Mama had it, it ain't gonna look that way." And every time we do something to it, I'll say, "Do you think Mama would like what we just done?" And
I love it.
Phil will say, "Yeah, I think they would both be tickled, that." And so this year, one of my friends, Brian Brown, who's with the Extension Office, Auburn, he comes on the show a lot and talks about farming and how to plant vegetables and how to have a garden and stuff like that. So he told me about the block gardens using cinder blocks. And my granddad always had a garden, like a huge one, but he spent a lot of time pulling up weeds, digging them, hoeing them, and that kind of stuff. This one is virtually there's no weeds. You just put cinder blocks together, put one on top of the other one, and I'm gonna tell you, these things grow the biggest roots of anything you've ever seen before in your life. I don't know how many jars of salsa I put up from tomatoes. I mean,
Really?
it's and virtually no. So I told Phil, I said, I just like, if I would just love for Papa to come back and see the garden. I wonder what he would say. And Phil said, well, he's one of those kind of guys. He always wanted, what's going to make it more efficient. He said he'd have loved it. I mean, he would have loved the cinder
Right,
block
right.
garden.
Especially not having to pull out all the weeds and everything.
Yeah, so I mean, it's good to talk about. I think it's good for you. I think it's good because I had some relatives who said, some of my friends said, "Are you sure you can live in the house?" And I said, "Yeah,
Mhm.
I can." Because I was already thinking about funny things my grandmother would say all the time. And my granddad was a joke teller, it's just storyteller. And so I said, I'm going to love it. I think I'm going to have a great time. And I love it.
Right.
Memories
And
are
the thing that we
fantastic.
just that's it, memories. And one thing that I always try to tell everybody and to make sure that they know is, you know, my grief and your grief are going to be different. There is no grief the same. It sounds like a cliche that everybody grieves differently, but until you really walk in those shoes and you really see that somebody responds like it's not just a person, but like some bodies, like the actual body responds differently than other people. But we get so, I think we're so used to, I don't want to say judging, but measuring each other by one another, that that when we think about grief, we think, oh well, I'm doing it wrong because I, let's say that you did feel bad living in the house, but then there's other people that wouldn't feel bad living in the house,
Mhm.
and then we're like, well, I'm doing something wrong then. No, there's no wrong way to grieve. You fit it for
Mhm.
yourself, but the wrong way, if we're going to say if there is a wrong way and a right way, the wrong way is not allowing yourself to grieve. If you're just pushing it off to the side. I met a lady yesterday and we were just talking, and usually just how it does. It just happens. I never set out to, to talk to people always about their grief. It just kind of happens. And so
Mhm.
this lady had lost her husband, and we were talking, and she said, I just didn't have time when he died. I did not have time to grieve. I went straight into, I had to take care of the kids. I had to take care of, I was working. I had to get into job. I had to take care of the house. The house was, da, 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 da. I mean, it was all this. She said, but here we are, I don't know, 8 or 9 years later. And every day I grieve. but I can't get past it. I can't get
Mhm.
past it. Um, well, she's not, she didn't allow herself. Was it her fault? No. She had a lot of things that really life
Mhm.
continued on. And I think a lot of times that happens that we don't realize. And so then when we do that, there are
Mhm.
children in our lives because children are like sponges.
They are.
They will sponge and soak up everything that we're we're giving out, or we're exuding out, or we're. I sometimes tell my daughter, I said, I think you're sponging up things that I'm telling you. You just hearing it opposite. So I laugh on that, but really, if we're not teaching our children that it is okay to have emotions, it's okay to to not feel okay, you know,
Mhm.
but then to say, okay, it's okay to feel like this, but it's not okay to stay feeling like this. Like we've got to
Mhm.
work through that. That's where I always talk about kind of God's light in the darkness. You know, God is our light. Jesus, everything that He touches will be revealed. You know, nothing can stay dark that Jesus touches. So I just say that those emotions that we have, they're God given. They're there on purpose because God gave us those emotions. So we're meant to feel them, but not take root. When we start living and taking root in the darkness, that's when we fall very vulnerable to the enemy that can come
Mhm.
on us. And so we can stay there for a bit, but we don't need to start taking root. And but there's we just don't realize that we've taken root a lot of times in certain areas of our life.
Mhm.
So it's always good. And so I'm thankful that we're able to teach these children. And then when we have our family camp hope, this year was earlier. I cannot remember the date, maybe in May, but we usually have that in spring. So we start by teaching the students, and then we try to start telling the families that it's okay. So we're trying to encourage and tell people that it's okay. It's okay. I had a client. I had a person tell me one time, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. He said he shared. He said, you know, love is what got us in this mess. But oh, what a mess to be in, you know. And
I got
that's right.
chills.
Grief
I
and
got chills.
love. And you can't measure love, and you can't measure your grief, but you feel them both, and you've got different ways that we express both of
And that's okay. I mean,
them.
we're all different people. You know what, Amanda? Time flies. We got just about
So
a minute left in this segment.
I knew it. I told you.
What would you like to tell everybody before you go?
If you think that you need anything that we can do to help in whatever way, whether it's hospice care, you want to volunteer, you want to be a part of uh, helping out with a thrift store, or think you need to help in our bereavement services, give us a call at 256-891-7724. We'd love to have you and help in whatever way we can.
And if you want to volunteer and you're new to the community, you're getting in with a good bunch of folks who know everybody. They're like the cream of the crop around here. So you really need to get in there and volunteer. It'd be a great way to meet people in your community. Amanda, thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you for being you, girl. We love you.
Oh, thank you, Miss Donna. I love you and I love being on here with you. Thank you for what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, folks, we're going to have to call it a day and looking forward to another awesome guest like Amanda. We'll be back shortly.